Today's video, I'm going to show you how to make your back feel more comfortable from this position here, this propped on the elbows position. So set yourself up like so, with your elbows basically under your shoulders and your palms down. And from here, you're just going to shift your weight into your right elbow a little bit. Just notice what happens when you do that. You'll find your left shoulder tends to come forward and down. And from here, come on back to the start position. And just repeat that a couple of times, shifting your weight into the right elbow and letting the left shoulder come forward and down. And obviously this makes your head come over to the right side as well. So it's a movement of your entire trunk and spine as well as your shoulders. And then come on back. And let's do that again. Shifting to the right, left shoulder comes forward and down a bit, and our weight is on that right elbow, head is over to the right, and come back. Now, can we do that on the other side? Can we shift the weight to the left elbow? And can we feel the right shoulder come down and forward a bit? And then back to center. And let's repeat that a couple of times. Shifting to the left elbow, right shoulder coming down and forward. And then slowly back. And we'll do that one more time just to make sure we're clear. Shifting the weight onto that left elbow, head goes to the left, and the right shoulder comes forward and down a bit, and then back to center. Now, let's come back to this right elbow. So we're going to shift over to the right elbow again, left shoulder forward and down. This time we're going to look over our shoulder a bit. And as you look over your shoulder, just notice what happens. You'll probably find it's a bit easier if you let your left hip press down a little bit into the ground, and therefore your right hip will just lift a little bit off the ground. And then from here, come back to the center. Let's repeat that again. Shifting to the right elbow, left shoulder comes forward and down. Look over the shoulder and allow the left hip to press down as the right hip comes up. You'll start to feel some tension in your back on the right side, in the lower part of the back. Kind of like you're flexing your trunk to the side a little bit. And then come on back. And let's do that again. Shifting to the right elbow, left shoulder forward and down, left hip presses down into the table or the floor. And you can probably even see where my right hip is now lifting up. And you can just gently sort of squeeze into that sort of pattern. Sort of create some tension in your back and in your trunk on this right hand side as you go to this position. And then slowly come back to the start. And let's just do that one more time. Shifting to the right, left shoulder forward and down, looking over the shoulder and letting the hips roll a little into that front of that left hip. And then slowly back to the start. Okay, let's do this on the other side. Shifting to the left elbow, right shoulder comes forward and down, right hip presses into the ground, and now the left hip picks up a bit as we look over the left shoulder. And then back to the start. And we're going to repeat that. Just notice if it's harder or easier on this side. Shifts to the left elbow, right shoulder forward and down, looking over that left shoulder as the right hip presses into the floor and the left hip lifts ever so slightly. And you probably even find your leg kind of starts to turn out. The left leg starts to turn out just a little bit. And then back to center. And let's do that one more time. Weight to the left elbow, right shoulder forward and down, looking over the left shoulder, right hip presses into the floor. Again, squeeze into it a little bit here, sort of use your trunk to kind of tighten yourself into this position. And then slowly come back to the start position. So as you can see, there's a couple of different elements to this, but when you put it all together, it makes the movement more efficient. The more yourself you use when you're doing these movements, the easier everything gets. So let's just alternate back and forth now between these two positions and see if we can make it feel smooth and easy. So shift to the right elbow, look over the right shoulder, let the left hip press down, left shoulder comes forward and down a bit, and do your best to sort of glance at your foot on this side. And then slowly release, shift over to the other side, left elbow is where the weight is, right shoulder is forward and down, look over the left shoulder, your left foot, and press your right hip down into the ground. And you're just going to go back and forth like this, and see if you can make it feel like a nice, easy, and fluid motion. And let your hips roll. And let your head roll, and let your rib cage move, and just start to get a feel for this movement as being a movement of the entire body, and not just about one particular part. If you do it in this way, it's going to feel a lot more pleasant, and you're going to get a lot more out of it. And in Doing this movement, you're getting into your shoulders, into your back, into your hips, and even into your legs just a little bit. But you're really getting some nice movement through your trunk. It's like a sort of a crawling action, crawling in place. And, as you go back and forth, you can just put your attention a little bit more into one area over another. Make sure your shoulders are moving. Make sure the hips are rolling. Okay. And let's do one more to this side and come back to center. Okay, let's lay out on our back and see what we've got. So if you've taken your time with that, that should feel quite nice through the back of your body, back of the shoulders, back of the hips. Entire back of your body should feel quite close to the ground and just nice and comfortable and soft. So if you enjoyed that movement and you'd like to learn more, go ahead and sign up to my mailing list. You can find a link in the description below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.